What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So today I wanted to continue my conversation surrounding Marvel Spider-Man and the potential of this game making its way to Xbox. Now already I'm sure that you're probably saying, what is this guy on? Is he smoking something? The truth is, when the Spider-Man conversation came about on PC, I was looking at a lot of the data and looking at surrounding factors, and it was quite evident that one day we were going to see a Spider-Man game on PC very soon, especially these so-called exclusives that Sony had been marketing them as, and that was because of the trend that was happening at that time. I believe that according to some of the numbers and statistics, the development and the growth of the PC gaming market was going to at some point, be attractive to Sony, and actually it was. So I made that prediction from those data points, and it was actually very interesting to see that this is something that's happening. Not only are we getting these so-called exclusives to PC, it appears that Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is actually going to shorten the window within which we're getting those games. Marvel Spider-Man in 2018 came to PC in 2022, but Miles Morales was a 2020 game and will be coming in 2022 as well, thereby officially shortening that window for these so-called PlayStation exclusives. Now, I keep calling them so-called PlayStation exclusives because that's how they were first marketed, and then somewhere, somehow, it appeared that they'd been working on trying to get these things to PC. But the conversation is surrounding Xbox. What makes me even dare? And what gives me the audacity to think that this particular game or these games will make their way to the Xbox console, especially when a lot of my audience members, still think otherwise. And you guys, you've been, correct on a whole bunch of stuff, and you still may be correct on this one particular issue. So in looking at the comments from that video, I'm not probably going to read too many, comments, and shout out to all of y'all here. I see y'all Ghost, I see Amari, I see Mafia all here. I appreciate you guys for watching these videos and talking about, these things. And, if I look here, you just see that, one of my, subscribers says Xbox, no, PC, yes, but in 4 years after it was released. Mafia, like I said, I think that window is going to be closing very, lightly from time to time. I also got to see some, comments as well. Here, someone says, just because Sony decided to bring the games to PC doesn't mean that Xbox is going to have no chance, at all. And I was like, whoa, that's one thing about, gamers, though. Sometimes we'll say some things, that seem to be huge declarations. So somebody says, nah, but I can see it coming to PC. Someone says, we need Spider-Man 2 on PC. Someone says, no, never, ever. One thing about saying never is you have to be God to be able to declare that something will never happen. But if you look at circumstances, you'll see that actually it is very likely that something like this is going to eventually take place at some point, depending on the market factors. Now, have any Sony exclusives ever made their way to Xbox? And this is the circumstance that we have to examine very, very carefully when we're talking about this particular situation. The answer to that question is actually yes. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, what is this particular thing? Now, if you were looking at my browser, you probably have already seen the answer to this question, and it's MLB The Show. Sorry about the brightness. I could not find any plugins for Firefox that will give you dark mode on Wikipedia. Now, MLB The Show was, for about 14 years, a PlayStation exclusive developed by Sony Studios San Diego, and this was a development team that was a part of PlayStation Studios, and the series has received critical and commercial acclaim, and since 2014 it's been the sole MLB baseball simulation video game on the market. I think this is possibly because of the license that it actually has. It has the MLB license, it has the logo and everything. The series debuted in 2006 with MLB 06, the show, for the PlayStation 2 and PlayStation Portable. Following the MLB series from 989 Sports, there has been a new release in the series every year since 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, they've been punching out these games for so many years from the PlayStation 2 console and all of the above. Now, after over 2 decades of exclusivity with PlayStation consoles, and I said 14 years, I was wrong, MLB The Show ceased to be an exclusive PlayStation franchise and was released on other console platforms Though the addition of the game at that time, The Show 20 was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. MLB The Show 21 is the first title in the series to feature on the Xbox One and Series X and S, with those editions being co-published by MLB Advanced Media digitally. And MLB The Show 2022 is the first game of the series to be on the Nintendo console, released on the Nintendo Switch. This is something that I'm not sure if we in the superhero space factored that in. Now, MLB The Show is not a game that you and I play. Doesn't mean that there aren't people that play it. In fact, people that play MLB The Show usually almost always only play MLB The Show. I mean, do you know anyone? I know someone, and every single time they're like, can I play MLB on this particular console? And that's the only reason that they're going to basically have that console, just so that they can play a baseball simulation. So whenever anybody says never, and one of the reasons that I actually made this video was because there was a comment that actually said Sony will never bring their exclusives to PlayStation. It was a comment I actually saw on that video, and I laughed and I said, man, you're saying Sony will never do something that they have already done, and not that they did it a long time ago, they did it just recently. It's not something that is out of the question. So for those that think that Spider-Man is this untouchable franchise, I think we have to consider that this thing that they call profit is a very, very huge factor. Once these so-called PlayStation, consoles eventually get to the place where you can't really push more performance out of these boxes for that price point, it's going to make a lot of sense to then expand to another console at that time. Because so far so good, our PlayStation 5 consoles are actually good machines, but eventually they're going to get outdated, and maybe hopefully new technology can actually maybe bring something that is cool enough, that's powerful enough to be able to run and give us more quality without causing too much of an issue, or at least going too high in prices. But I don't know when that time is going to come. And for the meantime, if Sony is going to want to continue to compete and actually sell games, which is what makes them the most profit, console sales do not really make them that much profit for the short term. Although we can say console sales will make them profits on the long term because of people locked into those ecosystems. But at the end of the day, you don't really want to make that particular, bet right now. I don't think Sony is in a position to stake heavily on that kind of a bet, seeing that Microsoft has already acquired some really, really strong franchises. It makes a whole lot of sense right now that in today's day and age, that the consideration for these Spider-Man games to be on Xbox is probably going to be making its way on the table. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and try not to move the goalpost, because some of you said these exclusives are not going to come to Xbox, but one of them already made its way and has just cracked open that door. Thanks so much for watching the video, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon.